Hi, everyone. I'm Lovelyn Johnson. I have about 20 years of experience in the corporate sector, and now I'm a certified leadership coach. Today, we are going to talk about the laws of leadership. One of the law, that is the law of intuition. The law of intuition states leaders evaluate everything with a leadership bias. I have a question for you. Have you ever had a gut feeling that something is not right and it turned out to be true? I'm sure if most of us would raise our hands for this question, there are times when we felt something is not right, and sure enough, it wasn't right, and we were right about our gut feeling. And that's what we're going to talk about. What is intuition? What makes those feelings right? And how could we evaluate ourselves to see, to be a better leader by understanding our intuition? So, what is intuition? Intuition generally comes from, it's about feelings, and it generally comes from your natural giftedness. So if I am a person who can understand art well, and I'm an artist, I can look at a painting, and if someone says this is Michelangelo's painting, I could say that's not true because I know Michelangelo's time, and during that time, this wasn't the art that was in production, so to speak. This is not the art that they did. And so I can tell right away this is wrong. The reason I say it is, first of all, I'm naturally gifted as an artist, and I've prepared myself. And because I'm an artist, I'm looking at different arts at different times. And when someone says this is so and so's, my intuition kicks in because I know quite a bit about the art. And that's why I say this cannot be it. And the reason I said it, even though right away, is because some of the facts that is underlying beneath me came to surface, so to speak. So naturally, whenever you have intuition, it generally stems from an area that you are naturally gifted at. And then you are working in that skill, you are experienced in it, and the more and more you are working and have got more experience in it, your intuition sort of builds with it. So when I was thinking about how do I explain intuition, so intuition is like when you have this rapid cognition comes into play, and you know this is wrong. And the reason you decided that was wrong is because your brain was so quick to look at that one particular detail and say, this is why this is wrong. And that's why you felt it was wrong. But if I ask you to explain why you think it was wrong, you probably have no words because it came so quickly that you couldn't explain what it is. And when I thought about Sherlock Holmes, on the other hand, he walks into a crime scene, he looks at so many details around, and he knows, like, oh, that watch is out of place. It has a scratch in it. It is during the 1800s. He knows so much information about different objects in the room, and he places the connection, and he finally solves the crime because he's able to not only pay attention, his intuition says something, and then he pieces it all together. But in the case of Sherlock Holmes, he has words for his intuition. For us, it's so quick that we cannot really say what we observed, and and that's what it is. Oh, I kind of was very encouraged by the book talks about a leader like Colin Powell, who was the former Secretary of State. And what he did was whenever he made decisions based on facts and his own experience, like intuition, so to speak. What did he do? Like whenever he wanted to make a decision, he would collect 40 to 60% of facts, and the rest he sort of used his own experience to make up for the decision. Sometimes I find there are two types of leaders who sort of camp in the facts zone, that they have to get all the questions answered before they make a decision, and some who just go by feelings and they make decisions with no proper facts. And I felt Powell sort of makes this perfect he's got this perfect balance of intuition and facts. So I believe that good balance sort of helps you to be a better leader. So how could you build on your on this law, like how leaders think? How can we build on it? I believe there are five that book talks about. We are going to talk about three today. Leaders are readers of themselves. So like if you are a leader, you need to understand who you are. You need to have a great clarity on what you're doing, where you're going, and your strengths, your weaknesses, your talents, your skills, your blind spots. As a leader, you need to be a good reader of yourselves. The more clarity you have about yourself, what triggers me? Why did I behave that way? The more clarity you have about yourself, the more effective you could be as a leader. So, understanding yourself, it starts with you. And how could you do it? There are so many tools out there, right? Like there is Strength Finder, there is DISC personality assessment. There are several tools. Use it. But more than anything, I would also encourage you for self-reflection, where you spend some time looking at yourself, thinking about yourself, thinking about how the day went by, and where did you excel? Where did you fail? How could you improve? The more you think in those terms, you're building good knowledge about yourself so that you can continue to do the good things well. So leaders are readers of themselves. So the number two thing is leaders are readers of people. And I loved the quote from Lyndon Johnson that states, when you walk into a room, you don't belong in politics if you can't tell who is for you and who is against you. And think about it, how true is it? Like when you walk into a room, like as a leader, you are leading people. So if you don't know who's for you, who's against you, then you have not read your own people. There is a responsibility of understanding your team, understanding what their non-verbal cues are, so that you could help them. So that you could foster open communication. So pay attention to your team. Pay attention to their body language. Are they looking a little offbeat today? Like, how are they looking? What can I do to help them? How can I make their life easy? How can I serve them? So, as a leader, the more you understand your people, the more effective you could be in leading them. And also understanding their communication style, because some people are very good in like all you have to do is tell them what has to be done, and they're like, I got this, and they run with it. You don't tell them how it should be done. They love autonomy and they crush it. There are people who like to be held, they want to hold your hands a little bit, so to speak. How do I do it? You kind of walk along and build their confidence. So there are different people with different needs, and as a leader you kind of adapt yourself and help different people based on what they want of you. The next thing the book talks about is leaders are readers of situation. And where the first thing that came to my mind is like my husband. Like I generally wear all my emotions on my face. If I'm happy, people can tell I'm happy. If I'm sad, everyone can say I'm sad, because I will have a sad face. But my husband, by nature, you cannot tell. He's just like, he doesn't carry his emotions on his face. But there are times when I would walk in and my first question is, what happened? Because you could tell. So you are the as a leader, you should be able to read the situation and understand something happened. What is that? So the situational awareness should be you should be very good in understanding the situation and analyzing it, so that you could clear the path if there is a need for it. So leaders are readers of their situation. The book talks about two other things. Leaders are readers of resources, and the leaders are readers of trends. When I would highly encourage you to read it to get more from it. And the next thing that I would encourage you to do is how do you how to develop your leadership intuition. What could you do? So now that you know, you're a good reader of yourself, you're a good reader of people, you're a good reader of the situation that you are in. What do you do? So like the number one thing I would encourage is, what do you feel? Like, how do you feel? Like, why do you feel a certain way? So pay attention to your own instincts, and don't just brush it aside. Pay attention and do something with it. What are my instincts? And address it, like at least take a note of it. And then what you do, you know your instinct says something is not good, so you've now paid attention to it. So now do that, and now look for facts. What other things do I know in the past? What happened? What do my friends say? Connect with people who know a little more about what you feel about in that particular situation, and get more clarity. And then take some time to think. So when you get this feeling, don't brush it aside. Take it and try to get more facts about it. And now spend some time thinking about it. Reflect on why you feel that way. Could it be true? And finally, based on all these, now your feelings, knowledge, your thoughts, now take decision. Create a plan, act on it. If you think that was nothing, just leave it. I hope so. That's the law of intuition in a nutshell. So, overall, what the law of intuition states is, leaders are able to read between the lines. So, if you are a leader, you should be able to read between the lines. And you can develop it by reading yourself, reading people, reading your situation, your resources, and trends. More than anything, I would highly recommend you to reflect and get feedback, so you can develop this law of intuition in a meaningful way. Trust your instincts, but always test them with knowledge and experience. So, like, none of us are in a job where we have to make decisions like right away. So you have time to kind of ponder on your instincts. So trust it, look at facts and other things, and then your knowledge, experience, and all that. So test it with all that and act on it. I hope you found this session helpful. And if you find this helpful, every week I'll be posting a video about the different laws. So I hope you would join and learn and enjoy this journey with me. Thank you.